Consisting of 6 members, the family of RIDS-Nepali live in one of the villages of the remote mountainous Himalayan regions of Nepal. Even though it is a prevalent custom to recognize those with a family name of Nepali as belonging to the lowest caste in society, the word is also used for all Nepalis living in any part of Nepal. The lifestyle of this family was very traditional. There are no examples or models of any aspect of development to be seen here. None of the characteristics of even basic grassroots development have touched this and other families like it. Untouched by even the very basic benefits of community development, they are forced to live out their lives in utter misery and pain. Is it entirely their fault that they are not able to have even the very basic comforts of human life? They live in an environment made toxic by open defecation all over the place. Battling repeatedly with diarrhea and worms, dysentery and cholera, countless lives of children, youth and older people have been snuffed out unnecessarily in these regions. Problems they struggle with are not just the diseases brought on by open defecation outside the house, but indoors too. They are forced to breathe in toxic fumes on a daily basis from the open fireplaces, even as they ponder hopelessly if there would ever be an end to the smoke that fills their homes. Scarcity of firewood, floods, and landslides caused by deforestation, earthquakes, water sources drying up, are all ongoing problems they face as they try to survive in the midst of suffering and pain. The reason for their extremely smoke-filled homes is not only because they cook their daily meals on an open fire with the help of a 3-legged iron stand on which the cooking vessels are placed, but also from the incredibly thick fumes that are produced by the resin-soaked pine wood torches they carry for lighting. With the absence of any electricity whatsoever, the light produced by the open fires is totally insufficient. Being able to study or do any other kind of work, even at meal times when the fire is roaring, is simply out of the question. The light from the open fires is just not enough to light up their homes. So, the smoke from these torches, combined with the smoke from the open fire in the kitchen, has taken indoor air pollution to an extraordinarily high level. The reason for their extremely smoke-filled homes is not only because they cook their daily meals on an open fire with the help of a 3-legged iron stand on which the cooking vessels are placed, but also from the incredibly thick fumes that are produced by the resin-soaked pine wood torches they carry for lighting. It is not just a matter of the walls and ceilings of the insides of their home being blackened by the smoke and soot, but a much more serious question is, how is it affecting the health of the inhabitants in the home? RIDS-Nepali, his wife Samaya Nepali, son Duba Nepali, daughter Tara Nepali, grandparents Surya and Chanda Nepali are all in bad shape as their lungs, liver and respiratory systems are all severely affected. We can only imagine the effect this has on those who live in these smoke-filled homes and being exposed to these fumes from birth till the last moments of their lives. It is their bitter experience that even their very life expectancies are cut short by at least 5 to 10 years due to asthma, coughs, and a host of other respiratory illnesses as a result of smoke inhalation. Dehydration as a result of continuous inhalation of this smoke is another big problem. They need plenty of water to keep hydrated. There is water, but how clean is it? Open river and stream water sources are often not nearby, and even if there was a drinking water source in close proximity to the village, there is not enough water throughout the year. Even if the water sources are located at a distance and the water is impure and in limited quantities, the village folk have no other option except this to rely on. This too has affected the family of RIDS-Nepali, exposing them to the risk of many diseases. Just consider the burdens that this family and many others like it have to bear. Their exposure to diseases caused by open defecation all over the place, diseases caused by thick smoke and soot that fills their homes from the open fires and from the resin-soaked pine sticks they use as torches for indoor lighting, and exposure to diseases caused by being forced to drink water from contaminated streams and water sources. How hard their lives must be! It will be a lot easier to bring about changes in these harsh life conditions if everyone in the village has a desire and passion to improve the quality of their lives. If all the learned men, women, and youth of the village realize their responsibility towards their village community and pursue it with a positive attitude, a transformation of their living conditions is possible. So how then is it possible to bring about this transformation? There is a saying that if a baby cries, it will be able to get milk to drink. In other words, where there is a will, there is a way. Every person has God-given gifts and abilities. These must be put to use. Now, let's talk about this transformation. Any kind of transformative venture is possible only through proper collaboration and cooperation with the right sources. Aware of this, Bhavishya Nepali was in search of an organization that would help him find solutions for the harsh realities that his family and his village faced. He came across RIDS-Nepal. The whole objective of RIDS-Nepal is to find practical solutions that would transform the lives of families like Bhavishya Nepali and others who face these harsh living conditions. The whole objective of RIDS-Nepal is to find practical solutions that would transform the lives of families like Bhavishya Nepali and others who face these harsh living conditions. So, with this mutual understanding and cooperation between Bhavishya Nepali and others like him and RIDS-Nepal, several developmental programs were initiated. To begin with, Bhavishya Nepali called for a meeting of the village elders to discuss and identify the urgent problems facing the village, with a view to finding appropriate solutions. The major problem of open defecation in the village was the first problem that was identified in the meeting, and so the Pit Latrine construction program began. The village experienced many tangible changes after the building of toilets. There was finally a noticeable decrease in the many diseases that they suffered from previously as a result of open defecation and the resulting unhygienic conditions. Of course, this was just the beginning. The next issue to be addressed was the traditional open fire kitchens in the homes of people, which was also causing serious health problems. People realized the negative effects on their health by being exposed to the toxic fumes from the open fires on a daily basis. In this case, the solution was the contextualized smokeless metal stove that was developed by RIDS-Nepal. Everyone benefited greatly through the utilization of this stove. With the installation of the smokeless metal stoves, the problem of unhealthy fumes from the open fires was taken care of. But people now realized that they did not have enough light in the room in the absence of these open fires. But, being aware now of the negative impact on their health of the fumes from the resin-soaked pine torches that they had previously used as their light source, they now started to use lights that were sourced either by solar or through the Pico Hydro projects, whichever was available to them. As people start to utilize all these different beneficial things, the realization of their need for other aspects of community development in their lives becomes apparent to them. After the toilets, smokeless metal stoves, and lighting in the homes was firmly established, people identified clean drinking water as another need for their well-being. Again, with the support of RIDS-Nepal, they were able to build and install water tap stands that brought in clean drinking water directly through an underground pipe into the village. They were now able to enjoy safe and clean drinking water. So has there been a transformation in the lives of people such as Bhavishya Nepali? Let's look at some of the experiences of the users. What was the condition of your family before this development took place? We did not have toilets and we just had to go on the path. We always had to try to hide so as not to be seen by others. We were also constantly afraid of being attacked by a dog or getting bitten by a snake or anything else that may come out of the bushes. Before you built the toilets, what did you use to clean yourself with? Did you use a piece of wood or a stone? How did you clean yourself? When we had to defecate on the open path, of course we did not have any water. So we used a piece of wood or a stone to clean ourselves. It was very difficult. At that time, with open feces on the paths, how concerned were you about diseases resulting from it, such as dysentery? Previously, when there were open feces on the paths, it was infested with flies, and the same flies then flew into our home and sat on our food. While we were eating our roti, flatbread, they flew and sat on it. The dirt-covered flies also sat on our water jars. It was very difficult to avoid the flies. Ever since we have the toilets, we have no fear anymore of worms or getting bitten by ants or snakes. We have benefited so greatly from these toilets. It is so convenient now. The walking paths that were previously covered with feces and vomit are now free of it. Now our paths are free of all the things that are harmful to our health. Previously, some went beside the field or right on the path to relieve themselves. As a result, dysentery and other diseases were rampant. Now, people are using the toilets they built. You don't see open defecation, and the diseases caused by it have now noticeably decreased. We have greatly benefited from this. What good has the building of toilets done for this village? The building of toilets has done so much good for us. Previously, our habit was to go anywhere to relieve ourselves, not just the children. We too have done this. Now, after using proper toilets, we don't have the desire at all to go out in the open. You don't see feces anymore out in the open. You don't see diarrhea and vomit anymore. And as a result, there are no flies. This has been such a good program for us. Maybe 1 or 2 out of 100 still go out in the open, but ever since the toilets were built, there has been a great change in the village. RIDS-Nepal has been conducting several development projects in the remote villages of Nepal, using the contextualized concept of the family of 4. Included in this program are the construction of toilets, installation of smokeless metal stoves, rural village electrification, and drinking water systems. These programs have been ongoing since the last 6 years. In your particular village and homes, what are some of the changes that you have experienced ever since the building of toilets, for example? RIDS-Nepal has enabled us to build these toilets. We gathered and brought in the bulk of the materials. RIDS-Nepal provided us with the basic needed materials and taught us how to build these toilets. We are determined now to use these instead of going all over the place to relieve ourselves. When there were feces all over the place, flies and other insects sat on it and then came and sat on the food that we ate. It's like we were eating the filth that was on our food. Needless to say, this contamination brought upon us all kinds of diseases. Now, we have really been spared from that. Ever since the toilets are here, it has brought us relief from disease and suffering in a big way. I can say that now we are able to live comfortably in a hygienic environment. Where previously we had to go looking for places, which was always difficult, now we use the toilets. It's contained and separate. Our homes are more hygienic and our food cleaner. The benefits have changed our habits and behavior. All this has meant that we live comfortably now. Let's now talk about the benefits of the smokeless metal stove. Have you seen this stove before? Yes, I have. Is it a good stove? Yes. What makes you say it's good? This stove is good because it has this tank to heat water. The slit made for the rotis, flatbread, is much easier to use. The stove we had before was not like this. It did not have any tank to heat water. The rotis made in it came out black. Our eyes always teared up. So, what are some good things about this stove? We have this tank to heat water. And how about these? On this, we can cook our lentils. This is to cook our vegetables. This one here is to cook rice. And this slit here is for the rotis. The flatbread. So, do you find it good? Yes, it's great. Do you keep the door open? No, we have to keep it shut. Why should you keep it shut? We use small pieces of wood so that the door can be kept closed. We open it only once in a while to put more wood in. What will happen if you keep it open? If you keep it open, all the smoke comes out. The walls become black after a while. The utensils get black. So because of this, is it better to keep the door shut? Yes, the door has to be kept shut. Tell me again, what are the benefits of keeping the door shut? Well, it's good for the overall health. We can even get hot water. The whole system works better when the door is kept shut. Because of this stove, does this room get warm or is it cold? It's warm in here. You have to shut the other doors leading outside, right? Yes. Okay, so what else do you find good about this stove? The stove is made out of thick, strong metal. What do you use the hot water from this tank for? Oh, we use it for so many different things. To wash our faces, wash our hair, for bathing, for washing our clothes, for washing our utensils. So do you mix it with cold water? Oh yeah. How old are you? What year were you born in? I am 8 years old.
अब अहिले चाहिँ यो नयाँ चुलो राखेदेखि तपाईको परिवारमा के कुराहरु चाहिँ स्वास्थ्यमा सुधार भयो? नयाँ चुलो राखेदेखि
What improvements in your health have you seen after installing this smokeless metal stove? It's so different now. It is really so good. So are you also of the same opinion? Yes, I agree with all that she said. Before we got this new stove, cooking our daily meals was a difficult experience. The smoke also caused us chest infections, so that I had to constantly spit out the soot-filled phlegm, sometimes in this corner, sometimes in that. Every corner was dirty with it. Many times I had to spit out blood as well, or blood-filled black phlegm. Ever since we installed this new stove and light in our home, everything is so clean. All of our health has improved. My eyes watered constantly from the smoke. Our home is not smoke-filled anymore. Our headaches have stopped. We don't get those chest pains like before. And when I have to spit out, it is neither black nor bloody. It's the same with the rest of the family members. I don't have to cook our daily meals with tears streaming down my face. Previously, it was a headache for me to cook our meals. Previously, we struggled with shortness of breath, and even going to the hospital and being on medications did not seem to help. Ever since we installed the smokeless stove, our hospital visits have decreased a lot. Before we got this stove and cooked our meals on an open fire, our home was filled with smoke. It got into our eyes, we breathed it in. The smoke was the biggest health hazard. Now things have changed. Our eating habits have changed. Our breathing has improved. Now, when we need to walk steep uphill, we don't have to cough that much. Our lungs seem to have cleared up. This smokeless stove has brought us so much comfort. We really do live and eat and drink happily now. Cooking our meals has become so much easier. Our overall health has definitely improved. Why is light such an important commodity? What are the advantages of having light in the homes? Here are some testimonies of users themselves. What are some of the good things that you have experienced as a result of installing these lights in your home? Before we had this light, we burned resin-soaked pine torches for light in our homes, which gave out a lot of black smoke and affected our lungs. We used to cough a lot. The children had black mucus. There is no smoke now. We are able now to sit comfortably in our homes, chatting with each other, hand-spinning my wool, and so on.
भान्सामा यो ठुलो बल्ब किन राख्नुभयो कति?
Why do you have this big bulb in the kitchen?
अब यो अलिकति धेरै अब
I have installed it here because we need proper lighting in the kitchen, and this light gives a lot of brightness. What is the power rating of this bulb? It is 3 watts. Oh, that's why it gives so much light? Yes, this gives a lot of brightness. We need a lot of light in the kitchen where we cook and eat and drink. This is an LED light, isn't it? Yes, it is. How many years is it since you installed it? 7 years. It's 7 years now and it's really good. Is this the charge controller through which the power from the 20-watt solar PV module goes through? Yes, that's right. What is that on the very top? The top LED light indicates if there is solar power coming in. It shows if the sun is shining and the PV module is producing power. The next LED light indicates the status of the battery's capacity. If this LED light is green, the line to the indoor light bulbs is on, which means it shows that the battery has enough capacity. How many years has it been since you installed this charge controller? It's been 7 years. Oh, 7 years? Where does this wire from the charge controller go? It is connected to the battery. What is this? This is the battery. Why do you put the battery inside a box? To keep it warm. Why do you need to keep it warm? A battery needs to have a temperature between 15 to 25 degrees Celsius in order to ensure and maintain its good working condition over a long period of time. We also keep it in a box to keep it safe. Oh, you keep it wrapped up? Yes, I do. Could you please open it once? Let's have a look. Do you clean it sometimes? Yes, I do clean it from time to time. Do you add water here sometimes? Yes, I do add water. What kind of water? I add clean, pure water. What do you mean by clean, pure water? We collect rainwater, filter it, put it through a sieve to further clean it, and we add that water to the battery. Why can't you do the same with river water? Clean it several times and use it. No, river water contains minerals and is very dirty with all kinds of contaminants. It will break the battery. That's the reason we use clean and filtered rainwater. Shall we measure the battery? Yes, please measure it. I have had this since 7 years now. You have had it for 7 years, you said. Let's see how it's working. Oh, wow! It shows 12.75 volts. This battery is very good. It is still in such good condition even after 7 years of using it. In that case, it's very good news. Do you have any experience of burning the resin-soaked pine torches for light in your home? Yes, we know. So how difficult was it when you were using this kind of torch for lighting? Firstly, it was very difficult to study with that light. Besides which we had headaches and eye pain. The thick fumes from the pine torches filled our entire home with smoke. Our clothes, the walls inside our home, our utensils, just everything was black. It even went in our eyes. It was very difficult. Do you know how long it has been since you started using this LED light? It's been 7 years. What benefits have you experienced since you started using these lights? We have benefited greatly from these lights. We enjoy studying now. Before this, the children were not motivated to study at all, but now it's different. It has become so much easier. Even our homes look so clean now, as our stove, the pipe, and our utensils are not black with smoke anymore, as it used to be before we got this light. How many individuals in your home have been able to pass the school leaving certificate program? Several have successfully completed this program since we installed these lights in our homes. My own brothers have done it, and I myself am on the way to completing it as well. There have been great improvements in education for children of all ages now. Have you had problems with the light going on and off some days? No. We have had no problem at all with the bulb.
हामीले धेरै परिवर्तन भएको छ हाम्रो पहिला पहिला त बुवा आमा दाजुभाइ दिदीहरू पढ्न पाएनन् हैन
It has been running well from the time we installed it. This light bulb has benefited us so much.
हाम्रो बत्ती आछन् अब बत्ती आन्न हामी रातिसम्म पढेर हामी अहिले एसएलसी पास हो धेरै जन भएछन् हैन बत्ती आदेको एसएलसी पास भए धेरै छन् कति साथ
Why is there a need for clean drinking water? And what are the benefits? Let's hear from some of the users. Are you happy since you got this drinking water? Yes, we are very happy. And before this? Where did you get your drinking water from? Before this, we got our drinking water from the river. Is it much easier now? Yes. When you used to bring your drinking water from the river, what sort of discomforts did you face? What kind of diseases did you suffer from? Oh, we constantly suffered from diarrhea, vomiting, colds, and flu. And now that you drink this water from the tap, you don't have these problems? That's right. We don't suffer from these like before. We used to suffer from diseases like diarrhea, vomiting, and dysentery as a result of drinking water straight from the river, the same contaminated water in which children and cattle had defecated in upstream. Now, the water we get from the tap is directly connected to the pipe with clean water from the source. Now we don't have to worry about getting diseases from drinking contaminated water. When our women had to go to the river to bring water, it took them half an hour to a full hour sometimes. Now that we have access to clean water close to our homes, they are able to save the needed time for other household chores. Where did you get drinking water from before? Up from the river. What are some problems you faced when you were drinking water from the river? Water used to spill out? The pots in which we carried water broke or got dirty? Now that we have this tap here, it is so convenient. Were there any benefits? It was not convenient at all. There were always a lot of people. We had to wash our utensils there. There were a lot of people in one spot and the clean water was not enough. Oh, people had a lot of problems before we got this facility here in the village.
बाट्याको नै रे छ कि प्यारा जिउमा आराम भेट भया भन्दिया पना जुम्ला मेरा सौका फारम भेट भया भन्दिया पना जुम्ला मेरा सौका फारम माया पाट्या